to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Dr. David Hooper, and this is episode 3 of the Unstoppable Introvert Project, and I have a good one for you. I'm so excited because this topic is the difference. This is what you've all been waiting for. How to change in a positive way. We're going to explore change today, and we are going to think about how to apply some of these tools, techniques, frameworks, systems, processes, whatever you want to call it, to your life. But before we get into that, how has your week been? How are your goals looking for 2024? If you've already jumped off the train and you've thought, no, this year's going to be the same as 2023, let me tell you now, it's not. This is my job to tell you, you have got so much time to achieve everything you want in this world, whether you're in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s. You have got so much more time than you really know. And it is today where some of these messages are going to click into action for you, and we're going to start to explore change. And I'm so excited to do this today with you. And I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. It helps you stay up to date with what we've got going on. And we have got some awesome things coming. Newsletters, giveaways, coaching calls, all sorts of YouTube videos, free content. This is all about helping you develop as an entrepreneur, possibly, if you're starting a business or if you're running one, if you've got ambitions of doing it, getting in better shape, whether you've got weight to lose, ultramarathons to run, whatever it is, or perhaps you are someone who's looking to develop relationships, get married, start a new thing with a new person, whatever it is, I've got you covered. Because like I say in most of the shows, I've been where you are. Terrible relationships, no prospects when it comes to jobs, struggling when it comes to my health. I've been depressed, I've been morbidly obese, I've been redundant. Yeah, I'm experienced. Let's just put it that way. Lots of things in the pipeline. I don't want to get ahead of myself. My goal is to commit to 104 episodes in 2024. 2 a week, every week, for 52 weeks. And maybe in 2025, we'll drop some merch. Who knows? But today, it's all about you. As always, it's all about how can you make the changes you need so you can achieve what you know you can achieve. Are you someone who's sitting there thinking, I'm meant for more? I remember I always used to sit and think, I am meant for so much more than this. And I've got stories that I can share with you. Just thought, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And it's getting to that point now when you think, I'm meant for more. So you go and do something about it. Instead of sitting and wallowing in that self-pity, you have to go and make those changes. You want to get promoted. Maybe you are lonely. You want to start a relationship with somebody. Achieving your goals is so fulfilling, but having a hard time achieving your goals can make you feel lost, and it's a hard thing to go through. So we're going to explore that as well. Maybe you're somebody who has their goals, but you keep quitting and procrastinating. Again, this was me for the whole of the first week of January. I've got big fucking goals, big ones, but I was procrastinating, bad habits, not taking action. We're going to get into that today as well. Maybe you're somebody who struggles with setbacks. You lack a bit of confidence and resilience and mental toughness. When you see a door close, instead of smashing it down, you go and sit in a corner and cry about it. And that's okay, as long as you get yourself up and get back to smashing those doors down. We're going to talk about how to do that as well. And then lastly, it's all about building relationships. So we're going to talk about how to get after that great relationship, not just romantically, but also in terms of building businesses and relationships, in terms of friendships and networks and contacts. Something must change, though, right? Are you sitting here thinking something has got to give? So it's all about going deeper into your mind today. And this is done by, we're going below the surface and we're going to create internal change that has a real strong sense of meaning to you. And there's a way we do that, and it's called the neurological levels of change. And I'm going to talk you through the model. There's 6 stages of the neurological levels of change. It leads to internal transformations, and it's so powerful. And it's something that has really helped me when it came to my own change. And there's different levels. Like I said, there's 6 levels, and we're going to work through each of those levels, and hopefully it's going to be quite a practical session today, and you're going to take away some really cool thoughts and feelings. So I'm pumped to get into this with you. Remember to like, share the podcast if you haven't already. Find me on Instagram, find me on TikTok at Dr. David Hooper. Share this podcast. Let's help as many introverts as possible become unstoppable, become high achieving. So pumped to get into this. I challenged my wife to take some major action this year. She is fucking killing it, by the way. 2023 was her year. She passed exams, got a new job, stayed trim. One of her big things is, keeping on top of her weight and things like that. So she did that, absolutely killed 2023. So proud of her. And she's a massive introvert, possibly more so than me. And she lacks a bit of confidence now and again, and she's not here, so I'm not going to talk about that too much. But I challenged her to do a marathon, basically. I'm a huge runner. I run ultra marathons. I love it. It's transformed my life in a lot of ways. I'm headed out on a run after this podcast, and one of the things that she has said a lot of the times is that I want to get into running. It's been on her list since we've got together. We've been together about 10 years. And she said, maybe I should do a 10K. And I said, okay. And I said, what about a marathon? And she said, yeah, okay, let's do it. So we're starting to work through the neurological levels of change when it comes to things like her environment and behavior and her vision and how she sees herself. And like I said, I'm not sure why I brought that up, but it was all to do with the change of her mindset of becoming a runner and pushing herself. She wants to be this unstoppable introvert as well. And maybe she'll get on the podcast with you at some point. But she's applying this. That's why I brought it up. She's applying the 6 neurological levels of change to her running. So she's never thought that she kind of looked good running, or she was quite self-conscious, which a lot of ladies certainly are. Men are as well, but it's more prominent with ladies. When I was a personal trainer, something that would come up quite a lot was, I'm embarrassed to be in the gym, or I don't want people to look at me when I'm sweating, or people are just laughing at me when I'm out on the street going for a run. And when you start to change your mindset, you start to realize, actually, everybody's just working on themselves. People are very supportive of you making that change. And the people who aren't shouldn't be in your life. And also, if you have empathy for them, they are probably just jealous of the amazing things that you are doing. So when you start to apply these 6 levels of change, you can start to build this unbreakable mindset. And the best part, the change sticks. So this isn't like you have just made a change for a few weeks. No, this is you've made a change forever and it's stuck. It's the opposite of when somebody gives up smoking and says, well, I'm 2 or 3 days into smoking. Why are you counting the days? It's because when you give up after 6 days, you'll go, well, I managed 6 days. But if you change your mindset completely, you won't need to count the days, because that is how you will see yourself. A non-smoker. You don't smoke anymore. That's it. So what are the 6 levels of neurological change? Environment, behavior, capabilities, values and beliefs, identity, and vision. And how it works, it's almost like a pyramid, like a triangle. The bottom layer is the widest, but it's also the weakest. And when you get to the top layer, level 1, which is vision, it's the smallest layer, but it's also the most powerful as well. So if you're able to tweak your vision and change your vision, it affects all of the other levels of change, and it will help solidify your new mindset, the new way you approach things. So let's get into this. So it brings your awareness to everything that's going on in your life, your values, beliefs, identity, your vision. If they don't all align, your change won't fully occur. It won't be permanent. Let's work from the bottom up then. So your environment. This is external conditions, kind of outside of yourself. It's things like, well, it's your environment. So, how do you live? Is it tidy? A lot of people who are procrastinators have incredibly messy houses. They go to work at their desk, but there's stuff all over the desk. That's one of my big things. So if I'm being unproductive, I clean, and I clean hard. I'm talking about I'm hoovering the house, I am tidying my desk. Obviously, at the right times, I'm not procrastinating, for example. So I'm not like, if I've got a task, I'm going, right, I'm gonna hoover the house and clean it for 6 hours and then do my task. No, that's not what I mean. If you are struggling, you could just tidy your desk, clear it out. Alex Hormozy, if you haven't seen him, definitely give him a follow on Instagram or TikTok at Hormozy. He posted a great picture that was really eye-opening for me. He is a multi-millionaire, lots of different businesses, very, very successful, very inspirational. And he just posted a picture of his desk, and it was literally a desk with just a laptop on, and that was it. No fancy pictures, no keyboard, no big desk, no big kind of computer desktop, lighting. It was literally a laptop on a desk. And I thought that was really cool because it was so simple, nice and clean, nice and tidy. So if you're someone who struggles with that type of thing, that might be something to think about. So that's your environment. Keep it clean, keep it tidy, make sure it is, a positive place to be. Then we're thinking about your behavior. What do you do in any given situation? It's not, your behavior isn't your identity. If you believe you're a certain type of person, you will behave that way. And we've talked about this a little bit when it comes to things like your language. Are you a positive person? How do you sit? Are you closed off? Are you open? Do you have your arms folded? Do you have your legs crossed? Are you somebody who's inviting and open and positive? So start to think about the person you want to be and the person you currently are, and what's the gap? What is it you need to change if you wanted to be that person? Think about some of your role models. Are they more positive? Are they more inspirational? Why do they inspire you? What type of behaviors do they showcase that you could learn from? Do they smile more? Do they engage more? Do they make eye contact more? And for us as introverts, my biggest thing is having an impact on people doesn't always have to be loud and with your voice. You can have a big impact on somebody and a positive impact, and you can almost stand out in a way by nodding, smiling, making eye contact, using your body language. So it's a really powerful tool for us as introverts to become higher performing by the simplest of things. So changing your behavior can start to help you stand out. And if you aren't at that point yet where you think you can make eye contact or, touch somebody appropriately on the shoulder, for instance, to reassure them, or to use your tonality in your voice or silent pauses to make a statement, it might be that your actions dictate your behavior for now. So things like getting to the office early to show that you're grinding it out. So to use your behavior to your advantage is something that you could start to do, certainly for us as introverts. The next one is capabilities. Now this refers to how we do what we do. What are your current skill set? What are your qualities, your knowledge, current strategies you use to develop yourself? Whether this is mental or physical or emotional or spiritual, what are your current capabilities? Because we need to have a baseline of your strengths and weaknesses and all those different things to be able to grow. And it's similar to the grow model. We talked about the grow model last week or on the last show, and it's similar to the resources section. So what are your internal skill set? What are your external skill set? Are you a good problem solver? Are you a good speaker, communicator? Are you a great manager? Do you have good leadership skills? So it's up to you to figure out what your capabilities are, and then we can start to think about how we can develop them. Whether you're someone who wants to lose weight, maybe you need a personal trainer because you don't know how to lose weight. If you are thinking about starting a business, maybe you've got a family friend who started a business who you could speak to. It's all about thinking, what skill set do I have at the moment? And what skill set do I need to get to where I want to go? And putting that all together. So it's all that kind of combined, which leads to your capabilities. But definitely being aware of what's going on in your life helps you figure out the next steps to take. The next one, and we're at kind of the halfway stage here, values and beliefs. Now my PhD was all about this type of stuff, values, beliefs, your vision, philosophy, and it's something that I am so passionate about. Really understanding your values or your why. So why do you get out of bed every morning is really important. Now I've worked with people who have been struggling, but then have thought, what's the most important thing in my life? Why do I get out of bed every morning? And they've thought, my children. I want to be the best mum in the world, and that's why I get out of bed every morning. Having that anchor your day is incredibly powerful. And when you're able to apply it to things like, I want to give up smoking. Why? Because I want to be the most incredible mum to my 2 kids. Suddenly your motivation spikes. Your reason to give up smoking, to inspire your children. That's an incredibly powerful thing to do. So have a think about what you value. What do you think is most important in this world? What do you really value in people? What do you value in yourself? And then think about your beliefs. Now, the thing with beliefs is that these are just opinions. So beliefs are not facts. They are what you personally believe to be true. So for instance, the most simple one is religion. We have a couple of thoughts around religion. I'll keep it just for 2 for now. One is some people, atheists, don't believe in God. I'll just simplify it. Whereas Christians do believe in God. Let's simplify it like that. They are just opinions. So one, we don't need to know if they are right or wrong. All we need to know is that atheists don't believe in God, Christians do believe in God. And we can leave it at that. We don't need to dive into the detail because every person is allowed their own belief. And when you link values and beliefs, you start to shape the way you see yourself, and the world around you. So having those different values and beliefs give you a different lens to look through all of these different situations. It can be empowering, it can be limiting. But remember, beliefs are not facts. And that's when we get into limiting beliefs and empowering beliefs in a week or two's time. That is when you can really start to see change happening. Because we have these limiting beliefs placed on ourselves by our parents, by our friends, by ourselves, and we say things like, oh, I'm not good enough to be successful. Actually, that is not a fact. It's a belief. It's just something you're choosing to believe at this moment. If you can reframe that and think, I am good enough to be successful, you've turned that limiting belief into an empowering belief. And it still isn't true, as in a fact, but it is now your new belief, and having that new belief, empowering beliefs. Next one, identity. We're getting there. Number 2, who are you? Identity. Who am I? This is who you believe you are. And this is where the podcast comes in. Hopefully. Firstly, I hope when I say, who are you? You will say something like, I am an unstoppable introvert. Own who you are. It might be that at the moment your belief system isn't that strong. So you think, oh, I'm just a nobody. For a lot of the time when I was growing up, I clung on to my football past. So like I think I mentioned, I was a good footballer. I was in the academy system in the UK. And probably from like 16 to 25, which is far too long, but it is just who I was. I looked at myself as a failed footballer, and I couldn't see past it. So my identity was failure. I was a failed footballer. I hadn't achieved my dream of becoming a professional. I got released. I wasn't good enough. And that is who I was until I was, in my 20s. And I lived in that bubble, which wasn't nice. But then I changed that belief to who am I? I'm an unstoppable introvert, going to do incredible things and have incredible impacts on incredible people. Suddenly you start to thrive. You start to be a high-performing person. You have to own your sense of self. You have to own who you want to be. Tell yourself it, even if it's not necessarily true yet. I am X, Y, and Z. I just read a great book by Jen Gotelieb. I hope I'm not butchering her name too much there, called Be Seen. And she said, speak this truth into existence. So even if you don't believe it yet, start to write it in your journal. I am an unstoppable introvert. Say it out loud. I am an unstoppable introvert. It's like my wife with her running. I ask her, who are you? I'm a runner. I'm a fucking marathon runner. I might be an ultra runner one day. I don't know. But for now, I'm a marathon runner. Own it. Own it. Take hold of it. It's the most exciting thing about this podcast is that introverts have the opportunity to say how amazing they are. You are unstoppable. My wife had a call before Christmas, which was really upsetting, and was one of the reasons that I wanted to start this podcast, because the person she spoke to said, oh, you're always down, aren't you? You're always sad. When she's not. She's this happy, bubbly character, so positive all the time, but people just see the introverted nature that she has, where she is quiet, but that doesn't mean she's grumpy and sad. No, it means that she's just a different person to you and is showcasing her emotions in a different way. And it was at that moment I knew that I had to start this podcast, because there's introverts all over the world who are being mislabeled as being Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, depressed and down all the time, when actually it's just their nature, as in their emotions are displayed in a different way to yours. And that is not a wrong way. You are still a positive, happy, unstoppable introvert, happy person, and you're being mislabeled by uneducated people. But that's something for a different day. So think about who you are. This is an I am statement. I am an unstoppable introvert. Write a few out. I am X, Y, and Z. I am whoever you want to be. But make sure it's a positive outcome. Make sure it's a positive thing. And then lastly, we've made it. The top of the triangle, going into your vision. And this again is where the podcast comes in. What are you part of? What community? What's your purpose? So the community you're immediately a part of is with us, with me. You're in the Unstoppable Introvert Project community. You're an unstoppable introvert. That's what your vision is. You're unstoppable. With us, with everybody else in here. Your vision, it's your purpose for living. And this is something, like I mentioned, when I was doing that kind of gap year, I started to struggle a little bit because although I was learning and growing and developing, I didn't have this end goal, this purpose in mind. I wasn't impacting people in the way that I knew I could and in the way that I should as well. Your vision is your whole reason for living. What is it? Whether it is creating a business that makes millions, that impacts people in a positive way, or at the other end of the scale, which isn't the wrong scale, by the way, it's just a different end, is it that you get up every day and you're an amazing mom or dad to your kids or your fur babies? I don't have kids at the moment. I've got a dog and I've got a cat who are my world. And for a period of time in 2023, that was my purpose. Making sure they were having an amazing time, taking them for amazing walks. Whatever it is, make sure it's bigger than just yourself. So are you having an impact on your community? What's your contribution to the world? Are you having an impact? What's your mission? Who's your tribe? Now, my mission has become crystal clear over the past few months and weeks. It is to inspire introverts to become unstoppable and change the world. That's my mission. We're building a tribe of introverts here. I'm so pleased you're here. I'm so glad you're here. And I'm so excited to be doing this podcast with you. And that's my tribe. But what's yours? Your tribe could be your family. Your tribe could be your own business. Your tribe could be where you volunteer and have an impact. What is your tribe? And when you start to have a vision for your life, everything else falls like dominoes. So when you figure out your vision, what are you part of? That helps you figure out what's your identity, who you are, so you can contribute to that vision. And then suddenly your values and beliefs are starting to get adjusted. Then you think about, right, I want to have this impact with my vision. This is who I am and these are my values and beliefs. What are my capabilities? You're starting to think about the gaps, your strengths, your weaknesses, and how to grow and develop. Then you're into things like your behaviors and your environment. And suddenly you're changing your behaviors in your environment to align to your capabilities, your values and beliefs, your identity and your vision as well. So it all works like this domino effect that once you have that vision and you feel at home, what are you part of? And it's bigger than yourself. Everything else will start to slot into place. So if you want to make a change, linking it all the way up to your vision will 100% change. So if you can link everything together, then it's going to be extremely transformational for you. Adopt that vision and you will therefore develop an identity from day one of adopting that vision that is positive, it's self-fulfilling. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe it, it will happen. And I'm not talking about faking it till you make it or being it till you see it or that bullshit type of phrase. I'm talking about having a real self-belief that whatever you have created in terms of that vision and identity for yourself, you can achieve it. Come on, introverts. We are unstoppable. We can achieve anything we want to as long as you believe it. You have to have that self-belief. So here's a couple of questions for you. What needs to change within your environment to make this happen? Do you need to tidy your desk? Do you need to clean the house? Do you need to organize your files on your computer? Or get a journal? Get a system in place? What behavior do you need to adopt to make this change? Do you need to have a daily schedule? Do you need to work out more? Do you need to be a more positive person? How do you need to change your behavior to achieve your goals? What skills do you need or have in order to make this change? So do a self-audit. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Who do you need to speak to? Who are your connections? Think about the resources section of the GROW model. Then think about, why is this change so important to you? Are you going to be a better person? Are you going to have a bigger impact on this world? Are you going to have the opportunity to lead your family in a different way or lead your business? Who do you need to become in order to make this change? So thinking about your identity, think about your role models. Who do you want to be like, or who do you want to be if you've got this perfect image in your head, and go and become them. And then lastly, ask yourself, how will you be remembered if you make this change? In a positive way? Of course you will. Think about that tribe, being part of a group. You know, I hope you tell everybody you're an unstoppable introvert. You're part of the Unstoppable Introvert Project, trying to get 100 million introverts to feel more positive and more unstoppable about their lives. That's just a random number I've just pulled out my hat. But if we can hit 100 million people, then hopefully we'll have done some good in this world. So that is the 6 levels of neurological change. And, you know, remember, we can work through it: environment, behaviors, capabilities, values and beliefs, identity, vision. We can work through these different levels to make sure that we are becoming as unstoppable as possible, because you have it within you. You have greatness within you. It is just a case of making those changes that are needed. Make those changes and then they will stick. Guys, I really appreciate your time today. I hope you've enjoyed episode 3 of the Unstoppable Introvert Project. It is becoming the best part of my day, if I'm being honest. I love talking about these mindset hacks with you. If you've got something you want me to cover or a challenge that you're struggling with, slide into my DMs. I don't bite. Send me a message, send me a question, and I will structure an episode around that topic for you. I hope you continue to crush 2024. It's January, it's a fresh year, and we are getting after it in the Unstoppable Introvert community. I myself am going to go and have some food, and then I've got 8 miles on the roads to get after. It's all about doing some amazing things in 2024, some of which include running. I've got that marathon with Laura in the middle of March. We've also been doing things in terms of our habits. So we've been getting up earlier. We're going to talk about how to develop some good habits over the next few weeks. Been getting up earlier, drinking more water, eating more protein, reading more books, being more productive, staying within my calories, eating a little bit later, but incorporating things like stretching and foam rolling and massage gunning, which was a Christmas present, which is really cool. And then going to bed slightly earlier, playing with our girls before bed, reading before bed, and, you know, structuring our day in that way. And that all came from the 6 levels of change, because we both said, what do we want to do with our lives? And we said we want to be high performing people who fucking kill it. And that includes doing all the things I just mentioned every fucking day. So I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Please like and subscribe at Dr. David Hooper. If you want to follow me on social media and send me any messages on there, that would be amazing. Please share this episode with anyone who it could help. I want to hit as many introverts as possible to show that we are as unstoppable, if not more unstoppable, than anybody on this planet. And that's not digging out extroverts. You're incredible people as well, but we're introverts and we are coming as well. And lastly, remember, the introversion that you have is not the thing that will hold you back. It is the thing that will propel you forward and launch you towards whatever incredible goals that you have. Have an amazing day, guys. I'll see you on the next one.